Quit coddling me, cronies, while I'm crowing calamity with or without cause, for my chaos is controllable when crazy converts cacophony for concert, and connected is clapping crowns cluing in, and kingdom had and is to come, which is to say, my head is tingling and I still quiver in the presence of my makers. My mother told me to gather my lovely kind kin and fluent in freedom folk, for this here be our rendition of paradise, and it's devoid of commercial development, deploying unarmed soldiers in a classroom with doors they rather weld into ceilings no dreamer could reach past, or protest won't rally change if what is trigger-fingered keeps our politicians gangsters and our thoughts and prayers pointless, and our families die without families when we're disconnected by all that begs to unify here and now. We must preach away a false prophet pigs, hissing peace isn't for the penniless. They bathe in their pestilence, but pity, poor me, is never going to stay up in my vocabulary. This lexicon be an elevator to the zenith of accountability. When in accord, wickedness is held responsible for mold they wish is digested, which yields a mind to rot. See, ruts and rust is all I swallowed to pass through my threshold, which is the unchaining of my psyche from trauma's dominion over all my assailants' wishes I carry to my graves. But everything I've spilled is by my own blade. So hear this pen and rise from the heat. My post-colonial freedom is free from patronizing patriarchy, and all the dividends divide rhetoric that keeps the innocent silence, but this hear the roar of we won't take this no more. Our shins align, while our alliances rather strip land uninhabitable. Protesters met with ice by leaders who smile photo op while innocent bodies drop. How many kids got to die for us to say enough war-thwarting progress, because no one agrees over their venerations of who is worthy enough to deserve paradise? I say the God that heals the swiftest is the name we baptize our future in, and in that namesake, Nirvana can begin. So, part of my bipolar, it came with a nice dose of psychosis. So that was really nice, where I kind of lost grip on reality for a second, and I actually ended up hearing a little bit of voices for a second. So I kind of wrote about it. So it's called, Once on a hike I heard something, wasn't necessarily to say psychosis, but became a vehicle to move beyond my trauma, so it was beautiful for me. Or pouting jubilance, a lovesick sucker puckered up. It was this smacking sound I heard. I thought it was a couple making out, but there was no couple when I turned around. So I thought I was hearing voices, not too scary because schizo is effective, and the med cocktail is the same as bipolar 1, half my diagnosis. And it wouldn't be the first time I was smacked with the delusion. Still, I checked Google. Sigh of relief. It was just a bird. Just a bird. Bird. A brown thrasher. I think I couldn't really see it, but you know, the internet said brown thrasher, so it was a brown thrasher. And their call is a kiss. And so from that moment, I kind of wished it followed me around. And it did. So I named it Wish, because it kind of rhymes with kiss, or so I mimicked. He's a smooth serenader of salvation and saliva, so my jaw stays dropped as our words conjoin out my tongue. He states, matter of fact, your next kiss will cost nothing, but the blood rushed to the cheeks to blush when we part velveteen tongues touched, so awe-inspiring and breathtaking. Cupid, Aphrodite, and Eros would agree and fold their hearts flushed. Wish, he packs mois like an arrow of thunder, sending shockwaves throughout my body. So electricity, it's like plugging a fork into a weeping willow and getting zapped into a knotted stem of a cherry tree. See, the days soar by with Wish and I alone, full, but not really alone, fully in love in a way that is unexplainable. I think it sounds a lot like us balancing systems of discovery while prioritizing recovery. Wish says put yourself first, and I say I trust myself enough to take my meds again. To let go of my wish which propels a silent, racing the heart so hummingbird, it jumpstarts sovereignty for this battle-torn soldier's finite days of terror are nearly over. And one day, that wishful kiss will be all my spoils of war. I wrote this for my mom. One of her coworkers was diagnosed with bipolar as well. So I was trying to find a way to relate to him and relate to us and what it's like to watch somebody and feel helpless and powerless and what to do in that scenario. So it's called Replanting Feet for mothers with bipolar sons. Oh, what misery thou hast endured while stuck idle as thy miracle withers. Born when thine barren desert sprung fount of fertility, sprouting revival promises. But thine child of hope matures despondent, despite watering and seeking and exposing bud to warmth emanating from thine solar smile, fight evaporated, leaving behind gravel and dust. Oh, to be helpless, as his roots flood chemical warfare. Lethal is the hold on his petals bloomed to fall. Poison seeps his stamen wild, chokes on whirlwind spread weeds, funneled from an internal storm. Thou hast yanked and tugged and pulled until thine eyes porn helpless, thine hands thorned as sepals rot, filaments droops decay bouquet in thy palms. O Mother Earth praised thumb green, thou pruneth his wilting, rapid and sporadic. On his good days, smell lavender, rose, his stem sturdy, petals on the precipice of budding. On the good days, forget the diagnosis and symptoms and terror of delusions. How vined hands against a car door promise to drift away like dandelion seeds. Oh, the pain when thou realize frosts cannot be prevented. Havoc latches too tight for flowers to survive. As thy shovel digs them free, leave thine fingerprints. Think self become a failure, but remember thou art good gardener, never neglected, labored thine self exhausted to provide sanctuary. So be grateful, resilience is a blessing of the bulb. The season will pass, thou must stay patient, must nourish decomposed crown when jaws are clenched, must trust in the lily's ability for rebirth when the winter ends, must cultivate the land safe for bounty, must replant feet firm, ensure the gale will never blow away, must water, must sing hymns and an aria of bumblebees, must laugh. Thou needst to laugh to sow dirt renewed, because when thou least expect it, the sun beams and breaks through concrete, and thou in thine firstborn blossom sunflower fields. And then I got one more for y'all. This is an ode to self-care. So, I love this poem. To the toothbrush bristle removing plaque from your molars, like pearls deserve to be preserved, and salad only belongs in the tummy, not gums. To staying hydrated when the mood is low, and especially when euphoria has the reign, it's typically a sunny day. To regenerative sleep, to smelling the flowers and essential oils, and fresh produce, and wood, and AM coffee, PM2. To an emptied palm with nary a foundation to rest your head, but a whirlpool to dive into, and the beginning then has no end. To mess when the imagination says, see all this clutter, see all this beautiful, a museum, pay $15 to enter a glimpse of mine and then mean it. To picking up after yourself when your mind says, enough already. Show me again my blank canvas, show me again a blank slate. Says rewards have been slated. Go in until you reveal all the minor defects on the hardwood floor and say score. More core to glorify and a launch pad to fly. To combating that voice saying give up. To little victories. To cuddling your pup at 7 a.m. To cuddling your pup at 9 a.m. To cuddling your pup at noon. To spending your morning wrapped around a curled up ball of unconditional love. To balance chakras. To deep breathing. Breathe with me. Inhale cleansing breath. Count all of your blessings and exhale till you no longer have an excuse to get it defined as have you put into words how great it is to live today? To how great it is to live today. Like the sun ain't shining, but feel this heat. Like the bank is empty, but feel me rich. Like the heart is vacant, but I'm in love. To falling in love with yourself before the flood. To feeling like this tomorrow. To dancing in the kitchen with death temps too soon. But he off-pitched. That foul stinker can't even keep up with your swan song. To refusing the avalanche from mild to severe in any direction. To being in control of your symptoms and situations. To creation when the feet weep to start say, get a move on, love. Make art.